Hi, I'm Steve McCord, Cattaraugus County Director of Veteran Services, and this is Our Veterans, Their Stories, preserving our heroes' stories, one story at a time.
I'm 95.
95.
Huh? And my wife passed about 6 years ago. And I lived by myself with my little Yorkie, and hey, we're very happy. I've got the greatest neighbors in the world. They take care of me. They make sure that everything is status quo, and I'm very, very happy.
Okay. And you were in World War II.
Yeah.
Were you drafted or did you enlist?
I enlisted.
You enlisted.
Enlisted in 1943.
Okay.
But now, look, I don't want to talk about the war. I really don't. I want to tell them, what it was like before the war.
Okay.
Now, growing up as a kid in the 20s, it was the roaring 20s, I know. Stupid government put this prohibition on it. They lost their tail feathers for money. The only people got rich for the gangsters. But it was a great time. People were happy. Oh, sure, they were bootlegging and all that, but it became fashion. People that didn't drink started to drink because, hey, you weren't supposed to do it, so let's do it. That was a problem with the situation. But as kids, we could go out and play until nighttime. Nobody bothered you. It was a great time to live. This country was great. And then, of course, the Depression came. And when the Depression came, I was born and raised in Buffalo, New York, in the Kennington-Eckerd area, which is kind of right on the affluent area. Very nice area. And you get a bunch of guys together, and then you got a ball game going, or this going, or that going. No mischievous, no damage, no nothing, that kind of stuff. We just enjoyed life, enjoyed each other. And then when the Depression came, all these fathers from all over the country traveled on the railroads. And there were bum cities. There were a lot of railroads in Buffalo at that time. And under these tracks, they had cities. And of course, kids had big hearts. All the kids wanted to go there and give food to the fathers. And of course, nobody would touch those kids because these were all fathers. And it was a great time. We used to go down there and sit and talk. They wanted to be near kids a little bit because they missed their own kid. It gave you a warm feeling. But you weren't in any danger. This was a great country. Next thing you know, all the young men are wearing green in the CCC. What were they doing? They were taking care of their parks, fixing them up, making them great, and doing things that were worthwhile. And all they got for it was enough money for their own necessities. The rest of it had to go home. And they lived in barracks, but nobody complained. They were fed, they were clothed, and they worked hard. And they did a magnificent job on our parks. Look at our parks today. Gone to hell, because nobody gives a damn. But also, they had WPA, all this working thing that Roosevelt went into. A lot of people bitched about it, but then he put people back to work. That's what they need to do now, put people back to work, because they're all lazy. Nobody wants to work. And if you don't work, you're not worth a damn. Let's face facts. If you want to sit on your duff all day long and drink pop and eat candy, sit there and grow big grotesque. It's the wrong way of living. There's too many people living on the milk of the government. And that's the problem. Nobody wants to work anymore. But I'll tell you, back then it was great. This country was so great. And as the war started to come closer to us and closer to them, you could just feel it. I mean, everybody was becoming more, let's put it, concerned, not just about themselves, but the neighbors, people in England and stuff like that. Because the England, after Dunkirk, they asked the United States, send us firearms. I know people that only had one gun, but they gave it away for the British in case the Germans did invade. But this was part of it. And they had they used to have picking up pans and stuff for metal and stuff. People gave. They wanted to, because it was such a, the loyalty aspects in this country was so great. Everybody wanted to be involved, and they wanted to, help. That was the main thing. Let's help. And that's what it amounts to. They wanted to help, because World War II was fought for you people. That's why you're here today. But I'm going to tell you, another month, you'd been speaking German. They had the bomb. Japan had it in 1941, whether you realize it or not. The only thing they did not have was the heavy metal, and they couldn't get it, and Germany wouldn't give it to them because they knew what the Japs were like. And King MacArthur just let them off after they massacred many of our soldiers. Let them go. Not the Krauts. They hung some of them buggers. But there was a different situation. That's neither here nor there. But getting back to them, as the war started to come, you could feel the people getting, they seemed to tighten right up and become more loyal. And they used to have practice blackouts, and the sirens and the whole 9 yards. Of course, us young guys, we loved it. That's when we got our girlfriends together during the blackout. but we did the best we could. And the rationing came and all that stuff. But hey, we lived. Women used to bake bread and make soups and stuff. Hey, I swear to heck that with the food maybe it was a little better than it is today. But the thing is, we all lived and we survived. It was a great time. A great time in this, I mean seriously. If you had lived prior to the war in this country and saw the way you could feel the country coming together, just like a bird, they were coming together because they knew that if they didn't come together, they'd fall apart. And this country was as great as from 1941 to 46 it's ever been in its entire life. The strongest, the wealthy, they did things that were phenomenal. They really did. You think about it. It was really a great time. And everybody wanted to get in. I was in the National Guard before I went into the regular service. And I went in, 18 weeks of basic training. I could fight when I got out. They give these guys 8 weeks now. They can't punch their way out of a paper bag. In fact, most of them, 75% of the veterans today never fired a gun in anger. Never. They're all heroes now. And I'm so sick of the word I could puke because they misuse. They weren't heroes. They're not heroes. The only reason you're getting all the attention is all this television, women coming and crying and all. Post-traumatic stress, you know what it is? All of a sudden they come on the service. They were fed. They had medical equipment. All of a sudden they got to work for a living. They got, oh my God, this is terrible. I can't handle it. I'm stressed out. Never heard of it before. When we got out in 46, and of course then I had to come back in, but when we got out, everybody was a vet. Nobody was crying for anybody. We used to have to help each other. I had a buddy that had lost part of his leg. I used to help him put his leg back on and stuff like that. We didn't have VA centers and all that. We didn't have none of that stuff. I never got a penny from the government, although I was a disabled vet from the time I got out until then, till 2000. And the only reason I got them then is because one of these Vietnam veterans were the best crybabies in the world. And now, these new guys, I went in for $21 a month. $21 a month, that's what I went in for. We got $50 for being in combat. These guys that are going in today, some sign up for $25,000 to enlist. They make $1,100 a month. And all of a sudden when they get out, realization history, and they all got depression. All you see on Facebook and everything else will show you how to get your disability, which to me is terrible.
Fraud.
It is terrible because you, the taxpayer, are paying for it. And it's stupid. But nobody's doing anything about it. Because this is corporate America. It's no longer, the politicians don't work for us, we work for them. Basically, yeah. Everybody has an MOS.
Right.
My MOS was just kind of a touchy one, so they kept touching me. So I went back in. I had to teach people how to drive tanks and stuff. But that's neither here nor there. I did that up in drum and stuff. But I didn't go back in as far as active, no, because I was still partially disabled. But the thing is, they wanted my knowledge at the time. That's all I amounted to. And I used it and I let it. I don't mind.
Okay.
I'd do it tomorrow if I could. Of course, I'm not in the shape to do it tomorrow.
Did you use the GI Bill?
Pardon?
The GI Bill?
What about it?
Did you use it when you got out after World War II?
You don't amount to, don't you?
What's that?
Put it on the garbage wagon with the rest of the goddamn paper. It didn't amount nothing for us guys. They didn't do anything for us. They still don't. I'm a World War II vet and I can't even get van service in the hospital. And I put a lot of money in it. Every time somebody died or something, I was telling people to donate money to the van service. I belong to WWII in America. Money in for the van service. What do I get? I drive my own car if I gotta go, and I gotta get somebody to go with me because I don't go by myself. I'm not that stupid. You know, I can, but I don't.
Right.
I'm a very cautious individual. And, hey, I love people. I've got great neighbors, and I don't have much of a family, but I've got neighbors, and neighbors are not bad. They're the greatest thing in the world, and they're super. We still get around, we have a lot of fun, and it's interesting to, you know, just people don't talk anymore. They'd rather sit there and play with their computer. Yeah. People don't read anymore. People don't have any imagination whatsoever. None whatsoever. And most of them don't have any morals. And God bless me, you know, even as old as I am, hey, your mind, they don't die. And I can remember when it was great, but at the same time, there was sure, hey, boy, I'm telling you, back then, hey, you got married. You didn't live with them to find out if they were worth a while or not. But hey, that's today. And so I live with it, and so do you, and so does everybody else. What are you gonna do? I'll tell you one other thing before I call it quits. You get a lot of garbage in the mail and, you know, disabled vets and all that stuff. Throw it out. It's nothing but a goddamn scam. They're making money. And you know all that bullshit. The government's taking care of the guys that really got hurt in combat.